the 50th anniversary right now of Sha Na Na. And it's the 50th anniversary of Woodstock.
You opened for Hendrix. You guys must have been in awe. Hello everybody, welcome to Backstage Pass. My name is Jeff Senior, your host, and it's my pleasure and honor to have some amazing guests today. This is a backstage look at the lives of incredible people doing amazing things. And today, I have a legend in the studio. Please welcome my guest, Mr. Jocko Marcellino. Jocko,
hey, Jeff.
Pleasure having you. Thank you so much for coming out.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
So, for those that haven't heard your name, what I'm sure most have, you are, in my mind, a legend in the music industry. You've had an amazing run of a career. You started Sha Na Na. Everybody knows Sha Na Na and the music you've written. You've been the drummer. You were one of the founders of Sha Na Na. Tell me about where you got started. Tell me you were born, you said in Boston.
50 years ago on the campus at Columbia University, this thing sort of came together with all different kind of guys and musicians. And one act that came to me and said, would you be in this band? They were like tight harmony singers singing the school fight song, but they started singing Little Darling, they started singing Get a Job. And they decided, let's put a band behind it. And since I was the only guy on campus that had drums, I got the gig.
How old were you?
Well, I was 19.
Okay.
But I've been drumming and playing music in, bands, in grade school. As a matter of fact, I was an all-state football player, but in junior high school, I was the only drummer they had in the school. And I was also on the football team, so I'd play the first half, I'd take my shoulder pads off, do the drumming in the halftime, and then go back out and finish the game.
A man of many trades. That's awesome.
And then, eventually I went to Columbia on a football scholarship. Not really, they can't call it that in the Ivy League.
Okay.
I was recruited. And this band, which they called Sha Na Na after the first, say, 4 months, got the call to go down and be in Woodstock. We were playing at a club in Hell's Kitchen, 12 of us trying to figure out what to do with this animal we had created.
Were you writing original music then, or cover?
I wrote original music, but we were just known for the oldies. That was what we did and what we know and what we choreographed and dressed as. And believe me, it was really against what you were seeing, hippies with long hair. We would grease it up.
Yeah, you did
the Brill
whole
cream look, which we still do, and luckily I still have hair to do it.
Yeah.
But we did this club that Hendrix showed up, and Janis Joplin showed up, and Led Zeppelin. I mean, we were sort of the buzz for a minute there. And Jimmy got the promoters of Woodstock down to see us. And the last night we played at this club, this 3-week engagement, some local goombas came in and shut the place down. They wanted protection money. But we were lucky enough to have the conversation. I said, go talk to those producers and say, yes, we'll do Woodstock. So we ended up doing Woodstock. We got paid $350. That check bounced. And, but very
Typical
fortunately, we got in the movie. We were singing at the Hop, so we didn't get on the longest weekend you could imagine, the best of times, the worst of times. We didn't get on till second to last before Jimi Hendrix Monday morning, but they edited the film. It looked like we were on Saturday night.
Wow.
And for the second time, we were indebted to Jimi Hendrix because his contract was that he closed the show. And the promoters went to him because the stage was sinking. They were having electrical problems. They were running out of tape to record it. There was a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And it had rained all afternoon.
They had a lot of rain.
So he said, but Jimmy said, no, my deal is to close the show, and these 6 acts haven't gotten on yet, including us. So that was the second time Jimmy saved our career because,
Wow.
when we didn't know we knew it was important that it happened and people cooperated and got along with each other, because it could have been a disaster.
Yeah.
And then to be in that film is just an amazing piece of promotion.
History.
Yeah, history and promotion. Here we weren't on the poster. We were on the movie poster. But
No
we were
record
just
deal.
no records.
Right.
But it's
So
been
Jimi
very
Hendrix and
fortunate.
Janis Joplin would come to the bar, and where you guys were playing,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
and you knew who they were.
Oh,
right?
well, I was 19
Obviously.
years old, and I'm
Right.
singing,
I mean,
these
what-
are the gods of rock and
Absolutely.
roll
I mean, that's
that were
amazing.
amongst us,
Yeah.
and enthusiastic about it.
And he, when he went to Woodstock, you guys must have been shocked. Did you know the scope of Woodstock, how big it was going to be, or did you have any idea? I mean, you were 19.
Well,
That's
not
amazing.
really. There was one moment where I was, as a claustrophobe, I wanted to be alone, but there was 500,000 people there.
Yeah.
But I hung out with some buddies to get straight. Well, somebody had the New York Times front page Sunday. So the festival really went Thursday through Monday morning. But it was an aerial shot of Woodstock. So I knew it meant
The scope
something
of it,
that
yeah.
this was, front page of New York Times, all the news that's fit to print.
Yeah.
It was Woodstock.
I mean, can you imagine today? You're 19 years old, and they say we're gonna pay you $350 to come to this event, and you'd be going, oh, okay, as long as you pay our expenses. Then you get there, and it's this iconic rock and roll festival that went down in history. The movie, I saw the movie when I was a young guy living in California, and just in awe of all the bands, and that's when I first was introduced to Sha Na Na.
Yeah.
So
We've been very fortunate. We had gold records, et cetera, but we're involved in massive media projects, Woodstock and the film thereof. And then we were packing it in after 6 or 7 years, and then we got a TV show, a variety show, 97 half hours, the Sha Na Na TV show.
Wow.
Which ran in syndication for 7 or 8 years. And while we were doing that, we were asked to play Johnny Casino and the Gamblers in the movie Grease. And we have more songs.
Another
on that,
iconic movie.
more songs on that album than any other artist.
Right.
And they were smart because they had the songs from the musical, which was sort of Broadway musical rock and roll. And they had us augment and play the classic oldies.
Right.
Tears on My Pillow, Rock and Roll Is Here to Stay, Hound Dog, and Blue Moon. So it,
Now, did you write? Who did a lot of the writing?
those are all classic songs that were written by writers in the late
Covers.
50s, maybe early 60s.
But for the
I wish I wrote all those songs.
yeah, for Sha Na Na, who did most of the writing? For
Well,
the band?
I've written songs. I had 2 songs in Rain Man. I have a lot of songs on television. And our piano player is a very clever songwriter, and he wrote the lyrics to Sandy,
Right.
which was sung by your friend, John Travolta.
Right. Okay. Wow.
So how do you know John?
Well, I was a young up-and-coming pilot flying jets out of Van Nuys and Burbank Airport, and I was living my dream. I was a musician and a pilot, and so I met John Travolta through the company I was flying for at the time, and he had just bought his first jet, and he wasn't qualified in it yet, so they needed a qualified captain to go with him. So I spent several years flying with John and got to know him really well. And I mean, one of my favorite stories of John, who by the way was the nicest guy in the world. He was just a great guy,
Agreed.
and always friendly and treated you. I had a son at the time, and one day they called to go on a trip, and I was on call, but I had my son with me. He was like 6, I think, at the time, and I said, well, I got my son, I can't, and hold on, and they called back and said, John Travolta said you could bring your son. So my son sat
Very
in the back
cool.
of the plane with John Travolta, and I flew John somewhere. That we had another pilot with us then, and just stories like I remember one time John told me he couldn't, he just wanted to meet a nice girl and get married, and have kids.
And he did.
And he did. And I remember going, "You're John Travolta? Are you kidding?" So
Yeah, we first met him while we were shooting that hop scene. We were at a high school in the L.A. area. I forget which high school.
Uh-huh.
And there was a piano. It was all slightly out of tune, but in between takes and everything, we go over and sing doo-wop with Travolta.
Nice.
He loved it.
Yeah, he's a great guy. What was Olivia like?
Oh, she was sweet.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see she's doing better. She's great and super talented.
Yeah.
And her record producer, you know, just did an amazing job on the songs that she sang, Hopelessly
Right.
Devoted,
Oh, yeah.
etc. So it's to be involved in those kinds of things gives an act longevity.
Yeah.
So it's the 50th anniversary right now of Sha Na Na.
Wow.
From
So
that
you guys are
time on
touring around?
campus.
Are you playing now?
Yeah, and it's the 50th anniversary of Woodstock.
Woodstock.
And there are a couple of competing events going on, but we're playing in Bethel Woods on June 1st, the original site, the sacred ground
Wow.
of Woodstock.
What's there now? Is it still the same?
Oh, it's a beautiful amphitheater, and then
Okay.
they have a couple of different sized rooms.
Okay.
And at the back of it is the hill that we performed at.
Wow. Wow. And think of the bands that came out of that one event. There you guys are at, were you the youngest in the band?
We had the two youngest, Henry Gross, my guitarist, who wrote Shannon. Shannon is gone now. He had a little minor hit with that, but he was 18,
Okay.
and I was 19.
You guys must have been in awe. Just
Well,
like,
yeah.
That's amazing. And the bands that came out of there, you know, when you think of, well, because Janis Joplin performed there, and you opened for Hendrix. That's
Yeah, well,
it doesn't
we were
get much better
second to
than
last
that.
before Jimi Hendrix.
I have the original Purple Rain album on vinyl. It's amazing. I bought it as a kid, you know. And so who opened for you at Woodstock?
You know, I don't know. I got to
Really?
look that up. I don't. First of all, it was a long weekend.
I bet it was. Really? Do you
We
remember
were
any of it?
sleeping in the van. We were bathing in the pond. I mean, we were out there.
Right. Bathing in the pond?
Yeah, I mean, it was.
A typical rock star,
It was
right?
back. Yeah, and as I say, it was the best of times and the worst of times to be Dickonesque. But
How much of
yeah.
it do you remember?
I remember. Well, they made the
Jocko.
film, so I can watch the film now. See what happened.
Yeah.
No, they have a list somewhere online, and there's also a list of the songs we sing. Somebody just gave me a recording of the 9 songs that we did. I don't know where they got them.
Well,
They
like the
weren't
original
from-
set list?
They weren't from Eddie Kramer, and they sound pretty good. I remember us thinking we didn't sound that good. Then I'm hearing this 50 years later. It was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And you know, when this thing we're doing at Bethel on June 1st, we'll have some of the original guys.
Wow.
You know, these guys left and became very successful.
I
They
read
had-
some of the bios.
Yeah, you know, my friend Scott Powell, who played Santini, is orthopedic surgeon, and he's the team doctor for the U.S. Olympics women's soccer team.
Amazing.
And they
Yeah.
have heads of linguistic departments. Robbie Leonard, to give him due, his older brother said, "You really got it." He heard us singing those songs. Said, "But you got to blow this up, and you know, you're gonna." So that's when we started going to thrift stores and buying leather jackets for $15.
Right.
Because they weren't in.
Right.
And then we went down to at a Broadway costume rental place and got 3 gold lame suits.
Wow.
So that was really the first one on campus that we dressed up. And we had to go on early because the crowd was so rowdy. They came, it was a night off from the revolution, from the two sides. They came together with doo-wop oldies.
Wow.
And we knew a half hour of songs, and we did them all, and they demanded more, so we just did them again.
Wow. Okay.
And then that was really what started, you know, then we did Yale, then we did a bigger one on campus, and then we went down to the Steve Paul scene where Hendrix gave us a break.
Yeah.
He was very important to us.
And that's, you know, I think that so much of life is, you know, to reach the goals we want, the dreams. And that's kind of what this show is about to me, the amazing stories of amazing people that, you know, the public sees you as this legend, which you are, but they don't know the story that what it took to get there, the work it took, the hard work, and people that are willing along the way to kind of introduce you to others and give you that break, you know.
Sure.
And those people are the mentors that we look at and go, wow, if that person hadn't come into my life, I might not have been able to achieve the dream that I had.
Yeah,
you know?
there was a guy I'm very thankful to, because I told you I got recruited as an all-conference football player, and I had to
Right.
go to the varsity coach
Right.
who recruited me.
Uh-huh.
Said, I'm really sorry, but I have
I have to go to Woodstock.
deal. I just played Woodstock. We're in the
Right.
film. And he said, there are windows of opportunity in life,
Yeah,
and when that window is open and you see it, you got to go through it,
absolutely.
which is very cool. coming
Yeah, it's
from
pretty
him.
profound.
Yeah.
What about how about your parents? Did you have, were your parents with your parents at the time, or
Oh yeah, yeah.
what did your parents say about, I'm going to go to Woodstock?
Well, they actually came down to the Steve Paul scene,
Uh-huh.
which must have really opened their eyes wide. You
Right.
know, oh no, what has he done? Because my brothers, they don't quit football, because one went to Patriots camp and one played the New York Giants camp. We were a family of footballers, and I said, no, I've had it with that. I'm gonna go rock and roll.
Right. Were they like, you're out of your mind, or?
Yeah. They got over it.
I bet they did. That's cool. So what other, what's one of your best memories, aside from probably Woodstock, is there something that stands out in your musical career that you know, I know you give a lot of credit to the veterans. You're pretty big on that.
Well, yeah. Well, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I have my talents, and if I can give them in any little way
Yeah.
to these heroes and their families, it's easy and great to do.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels good to give back, and you know, I talk all the time. There's 7 billion people on Earth, you know, and if we put that into perspective, a million seconds is 11 days. A billion is about 30 years. And there's 7 billion of us. No two of us are alike. We all have gifts. Football, I could never play football. I wasn't, you know, or golf, but we have music. We have, you know, I got to fly planes. So, and you've used your gifts for great things. You've touched millions of lives through your music, and what an honor that is. So, I think what we should maybe do is play some music together. What do you think?
Rock and roll is here to stay.
That's right. I think we should rock and roll. So
All right.
we're gonna get ready to jam, and I get to jam with a legend. How cool is that?
Here we go. 2, 3, 4.
Well, get out of that bed, baby, wash your face and hands. Well, get out of that bed, baby, wash your face and hands. Get into the kitchen, 'cause I'm a hungry man. Well, I said shake, rattle and roll. 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 Ah, you don't do right to save your doggone soul. You keep wearing those dresses and the sun comes shining through. Well, you keep wearing them dresses, baby, the sun comes shining through. Feed my eyes at all that belong to you. Well, everybody, I say shake, rattle and roll. I said shake, rattle and roll. I said shake, rattle and roll. I said shake, rattle and roll. Oh, you don't do right to save your doggone soul. I believe you're going to the devil, but now I know. I believe you're going to the devil, but now I know. Because the more I work, faster my money goes. I said shake, rattle and roll. 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 Ah, you don't do right, save your doggone soul. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Good job, sir. All right.
That's after extensive rehearsal.
So he just
Okay,
learned
5
this
minutes.
song. It's a song I wrote recently. We're going to be recording it soon with my band. It's called, and it's 3 simple words: "We the people, we the people. For many, we become one." And it goes, "We are free, we are free, we are we the people."
I'll follow you.
Okay.
I'll fake it if I don't know it.
Should I sing a verse? Let's see. We are the sons and daughters, brothers and sisters of one. We are the home of the free, stars and stripes high above. Okay, here we go. We are free. We are free. We are we people. We are free. We are free. We are we the people. Thank you. We the people. God bless America. Thank you for tuning in. And Backstage Pass, come see us again. Thanks again.
They got a new dance and it goes like this. Pop, shoot, pop, 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 shoot, pop. Name of the dance is the peppermint twist. Pop, shoot, pop, 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 shoot, pop. And you learn to do this peppermint twist. Pop, shoot, pop, 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 shoot, pop. You go round and round, up and down, round and round. 1, 2, 3, kick. 1, 2, 3, jump.